people look at the military as a 9 to 5 job.
Mhm.
And then if you even say you have to go on a deployment, even if it's just for like 3 months or 6 months, people are upset about it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you're in the military. You're
Yeah.
not in a regular 9 to 5 job. So when I say I was excited to go over there, is because I felt like I was going to be doing what I joined the military to do.
Welcome back to Life Untold. I hope everybody's doing good. Today we have a very, very amazing guest today. She is the first female that I have on my entire show, with many more to come. But I'd like to introduce Miss Felicia Tanksley. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, H?
I'm good. I'm good. I go by Felicia now because hey, I'm done. I didn't wrap it up, but I can understand H too. So before we get started, I have some rapid fire questions for you. All you got to do is pick one or the other, and then we'll go. Starting off, coffee or tea?
T.
All right, beach vacation or mountain getaway?
Beach vacation.
Read a book or watch a movie?
Watch a movie.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
City life or country life?
Uh, I'll say city life.
Okay. Phone call or text message?
Text message.
All right. And then the last one, Marine Corps' birthday.
November 10th,
All
1775.
right. Okay, cool. Because I asked the Marine the other day what the Marine Corps birthday is. You know what he told me?
What?
November 10th, 1775. I don't know what else he's going to tell us, right? So, yeah. Nah, but
That's how you know if they real or not.
I know. Yeah, that's how you could tell definitely that it is either instilled in us or brainwashed into us. I can't figure it out. So, starting off, I want you to tell us a little bit about Felicia.
I'm a Marine Corps brat. I grew up around the Marine Corps. I always said that I did not want to join because I did not want to have to move around like I did as a child. Then one day I was about to turn 22 and I was like, I think I want to do something with my life and not be stuck at 29 Palms. So I went to the recruiting office. My parents didn't know. I told them that I was interested in joining the Marine Corps. My dad told me to do the Air Force, and I said no because their uniforms don't look as good as the Marine Corps. So that's the route I took, and I've been in over 18 years now. So
Okay. So we're gonna pull it back just a tad bit. What was Felicia like growing up? What was your upbringing like? A lot of people don't remember their childhood. So what was childhood like for Felicia?
I mean, it was pretty strict. You don't do anything to tarnish dad's reputation.
Okay.
I tried to stay as good as possible. I would say, you know, we didn't get everything that we wanted, but we got everything that we needed. I grew up playing sports. I love being outside. So when I had to stay inside, I was in trouble because I stayed outside until the street lights came on. I would say I had a pretty good childhood. I mean, the only bad part is we had to move every 3 years or so and have to start our life all over again, trying to make friends and stuff. But looking back on it, I appreciate that experience going to different countries, being on an airplane before I graduated high school. It's just right now, like as I got older, just trying to determine what I call home. Like a lot of people say, oh, yeah, home is Biloxi, Mississippi, and that's where they literally grew up. But for me, I just say I claim Georgia because that's where I feel like I'm at home every time I go. So I would say that's the only bad part, but I would say I had a pretty good childhood.
Okay. And you're a Saints fan, correct?
Boy, get out my face.
Nah, we all know she represents those Falcons. To each their own. To each their own. So when you said that, I heard you say something key. That you said we. So do you have siblings, or are you only child?
Yes, I have a sister. She's 2 years younger than me, and she lives in Texas.
Awesome. Now, growing up, with y'all only being 2 years apart, I can definitely relate to that because my brother and me were only 18 months apart. People used to think we were twins. I don't see it, but everybody's like, bro, that y'all like literally like twins. So, what was it like for Felicia and a sibling growing up? Was it like you protective? Was it like get out of my room? Don't look at me before I push you down the stairs? What was that like?
I think we had a pretty good relationship. We got to go through school pretty much together. Obviously, I went to school before she did, and then the transition between elementary school and middle school, then middle school and high school, there was like a year difference or something like that. I would say for the most part we had a good relationship. Siblings are gonna fight regardless. So
Yeah, yeah.
we had our fights, but it was nothing to where it'd be like I'd want to say I disowned her or she'd want to say she disowned me or whatever.
And I mean, that's a good thing. That's a good thing to be plus up because a lot of people can't say that. I've met a lot of people that say I cut my brother and sisters off, and I don't have a relationship. And some of them later in life they yearn for that relationship. So it's good that y'all still have that. So when you were in those teenage years, where was those years located? You said 29 Palms.
So
If we're
I
talking
would
high school,
I went to three different high schools. So it was Belgium, upstate New York, and 29 Palms.
now going back through them years, us being kids, we really don't understand. We try to understand, but we don't.
Mhm.
Was there ever any type of resentment or hatefulness towards dad because y'all had to move around a lot, or were you that understanding child is like, hey, it is what it is? And I asked that only because my daughter hit me with that a couple of years ago. She said, "Dad, I'm done. I'm tired of moving with all my friends." And I'm like, bro, I never thought I would hear that out of my daughter's mouth. But apparently, a kid does get fed up, and she's only 12. So I'm like, bro, that's wild. So did you ever feel like that at any time?
Honestly, I can't remember if I felt like that or not. I do remember having resentment that my dad was gone a lot, but not resentment towards having to move all the time. I think I realized that needed to happen. I just didn't realize why my dad had to be gone all the time until I got older, and then especially after I joined the Marine Corps, I really realized it. So I don't think I have resentment having to move. Now I do, because like I said, like I don't know where to call home. Like I can't really call any place home. Back then, I don't think so.
So when we talk about high schools, those final years, those pivotal moments, you end up going in. Were you thinking about college, or were you thinking about life after, or what was Felicia's mindset coming out of that senior year? Was it, hey, I got these scholarships, I'm about to explore, or what?
Honestly, I was lost. I was really lost coming out of high school. I wanted to be a nurse. Like my mindset was set on that, and one of my good friends, we wanted to do nursing together. But both of us was kind of all over the place. We were like, we'll get an apartment and we'll go to college and do this and that. But if you've ever been to 29 Palms, the type of apartments that are there, and then the college, like they have Copper Mountain College, but it doesn't really have everything that you need. So we would have had to travel. Neither one of us had a car. Like it was just a lot. And then back then, like assistance for college wasn't like how it is now. Like it was more difficult to try and maneuver how to get scholarships and everything like that. And neither one of my parents did college, so they couldn't really guide me in the right direction and stuff like that. So obviously I didn't do nursing. I ended up working at the Com School Chow Hall. That was my very
Mm.
first job. They started me on the line and then I became a cashier. And then when they closed that down to renovate and make it bigger, I started working at the exchange. Did that, and then I joined the Marine Corps after that. But I was doing college part time at Copper Mountain College just to get the electives out the way. Then I did everything else after I joined. Yeah, I was lost. I was on recruiting duty. I was one of those kids that had a dream but didn't know how to really get there. So
Yeah. And I would say that a lot of people go through that kind of stuff, especially coming out of that high school pivotal point. At this time, you're working the exchange. What was going through Felicia's mind when she started to say, hey, you know what? I'm about to think about the Marine Corps. Like, most people think about, like, yo, what I'm going to do tomorrow? What I'm going to have to eat? If I'm gonna go to this club, and here you are like, hey, I'm about to go join the number one fighting force in the world. How did we get to that point?
I think part of it at the time, my dad was still a first sergeant at comm school when I was working at the chow hall, and then he got promoted to sergeant major. But he was still on 29 Palms, so I'd hear stories from people when they'd come into the chow hall or when they came into the PX, or I'd see how people interacted with him and how he interacted with people. And a part of me was like, I want to know how that feels. Like, I want to have that respect. Plus, my mom, she did about 13 years in the Marine Corps. She got out because at that time, dual military, it really was not supported.
Yeah.
She got out, my dad stayed in. So if she could do it, I was like, I could do it too. I felt like I needed to prove something, but at the same time, I was scared because I was like, a lot of people know him, and if I fail, it's not gonna look good. So I was definitely scared. I
So would
think
you
I'm
say you
still
were more
scared today.
still?
I think so because it's just him. I still to this day don't want to do anything to make him look bad. And I never want to look bad, but I feel like anything I do will get back to him whether I wanted to or not. And if I
Yes.
do something bad, they'll be like, well, he would never, or he must be disappointed. You know what I mean? Like, it's just.
Hey, Pops did, okay? Let's get it right. Hey, ain't nobody perfect. But I definitely understand that. I could definitely see that. Were you even worried about going to Marine Corps boot camp, knowing that your mom did it? Because I guarantee your mom is a strong individual. But like you said, hey, if she could do it, I could do it. Going to boot camp, was it more like, hey, no, I can do this. I'm afraid to do this, or is it just I just can't disappoint dad and mom?
I mean, it's everything because you never know what you're getting into until you're in it.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I grew up around the Marine Corps and I saw things, I didn't personally go through it. So I didn't know really what boot camp was about. Yeah, you see the videos and people can tell you X, Y, and Z, but you have to experience for yourself. So yeah, I was definitely scared. And I was like, and you joined at 22. And I was like, am I gonna be able to compete with all these 17, 18, 19 year olds? Going there, people, drill instructors asked me if he was my father, and I was hesitant to say yes, but I said yes because they were gonna find out regardless. I was just scared of the whole process.
Yeah. So when you look back on it and you look at boot camp, the experience that you went through, tell us, what is that experience like being a woman, being a black woman, and just being a woman in general going to Marine Corps boot camp? Your situation a lot different and makes it a little bit more special because you're fighting so many controversial topics. A woman being in the Marine Corps, my dad being a kind of like a face of the Marine Corps, and then just going to the hardest boot camp that anyone could ever go to. What was that experience like going there?
So, from what I can remember, because it's been a while and
Hey, come on.
I'm old, I like to say I'm old, but don't worry about what my actual age is. I feel like there was quite a few of us that were African American or Hispanic or something like that. So it didn't seem like anybody was really singled out or anything like that. They definitely tell you the language that is used. They tell you not to act this way or act that way. They warned us about what males call us and everything like that. But I don't remember us being treated crazy due to our ethnicity. But definitely when we got around the male platoons, because we graduated with a male platoon, the drill instructors did act a little different because everyone's trying to prove themselves. And I know female drill instructors, whether they want to admit it or not, they're trying to prove that they belong just like the male drill instructors. Because throughout the Marine Corps, females have to prove that we belong just like the males do. Unfortunately, there's a lot of males that still believe that we don't belong in the organization, but not as many as there was back then. But it's still disappointing to know that people still have that mindset. So to answer your question, at boot camp, I don't think it was too difficult. I think the difficulty came once we got out. I don't know how it is now that everything is integrated. It might be a little different.
Yeah.
But I think since we were segregated, all females together, I think it was fine.
I definitely agree with you on that. When it comes to women in the military having to prove themselves. My time in the Corps, I like to always refer back to my time on recruiting duty because it was my most influential time. Seeing the Marines to my left, these poolies, these people that want to be Marines to our right. I'm pretty sure you might remember, you might not. I had a female empowerment group. H was known for recruiting women into the military. And when I recruited them, I told them everywhere you go, you need to walk in like you own that fucking place. You got to walk in because 9 times out of 10, when you walk in, you're already being devoured, whether mentally, physically, because that's just in today's society, let alone the Marine Corps. So you have to go in with that chip on your shoulder, knowing that I got this, I'll have this. And I guarantee it was not any easier back then. So I guarantee the lessons that y'all had to learn in that time frame was definitely instilled in you and how you're able to speak today. So, and I don't ever skip over this part of boot camp when we get that Eagle Globe and anchor in our hand. We don't remember much, but we try to remember that time. It's getting farther and farther away, but we try to remember. So, what was it like to go through the crucible, the one something that 1% of American population can only claim, and then here you are, you complete it. You know, you have dad that's probably in the back, probably gonna be crying, but you get that Eagle Globe and anchor in your hand. What was that feeling like?
It felt amazing. Like, it felt like I joined the best organization, the best branch of service. Sorry to my brothers and sisters out there from other services.
Come on.
No, I really felt like I accomplished something, and I knew that that was only the beginning to a lot of successes that I was gonna be able to make in the future. Did I think I was gonna be staying in this long? Not exactly. I think I just took it one enlistment at a time, and those enlistments went by super fast. Like I was telling people today, I don't know where the past 18 years went, but I'm almost to the finish line.
I mean, the time does fly. I mean, I was thinking about today. I'm like, man, y'all really at like 18 years. That is crazy to think that time has flown by. But during that time, you joined the Marine Corps and you end up getting a job administration specialist. And what prompted you to do that? Did you pick that job? Was a job given to you? I had somebody on my last podcast. They said that they were open contract and they didn't know. I was like, man, that's why I work. So, what was that like going through administration school? And did you know you was coming in for that job?
So I told the recruiter I wanted to be legal, and he said that the program legal is attached to admins. You have a 50-50 chance
Yeah.
of being a legal clerk. I knew my odds were not the greatest. In boot camp is when I found out I was going to be admins, or it might have been MCT actually, when they said, get on the bus, you're going to Camp Johnson. So I think that's when I found out. I mean, admin wasn't bad. A part of me wanted to do the legal side. So I really wanted to do that. But looking back on it, I'm kind of glad I didn't because that MOS promotes really slow because it's
Yeah.
super small. I don't regret being admin.
So you get admin, and then you get your first duty assignment, and you end up going to New Orleans.
Hmm.
How did you pull that off? So I was able to get to New Orleans too, but I was never able to get it on no first duty. So I ended up getting Camp Lejeune. So you get New Orleans. Was that a phone call? Was it because you graduated at the top of the class, or was it just the luck of the draw?
Honestly, I don't know. Like they told us to make a list
Mm-hmm.
and I put it on my list. I think I graduated third in my class. So that may have had something to do with it. I don't know. When I heard of Marforez, I was like, I remember learning that in boot camp. Like, I
Yeah.
know where it's at. But I didn't think it was a place I could go to because I wasn't a reservist. And still today, people are like, were you on I? Were you a reservist? No, I was active duty at
Yeah.
Marforez.
So, and what was that time like? Because I mean, you're in the New York City of the South. That's I like to call it. I found out I got orders to there. I was just like ecstatic. So, what was that experience like being there? And especially, could you go into just a little detail about what was it like compared to now that you know what it's like being at a bigger station that all your friends probably had to go to? Was it hard being at a kind of like a smaller unit like that?
No, because there was a lot of us. You may not think there was a lot, but there was a lot on active duty. They were either active or AR. And we got into trouble just like if you was on Lejeune, 29 Palms, Pendleton. I loved it. We had our little clique or whatever on the weekends. We'd either drink at the barracks or we'd go out in town and go to a club that I think closed out a couple years
Okay.
after I left. I mean, I would go back to those times in a heartbeat. Like,
Yeah.
I'm still friends with so many people that I was at Marforez with, even civilians that are still there. I still stay in contact with them. We went to Mardi Gras every year. It was just, I don't know. I loved it.
So I heard you say, man, we was doing the same thing that every other Marine was doing. I mean, what I was doing in North Carolina, I mean, I was speeding, getting off work, doing silly stuff, partying, waking up at 5, knowing I gotta be at PT at 6. So at this time, y'all doing kind of like the same things. Mind frame different at that time, where it's like, man, you know what? Felicia has to do her things. Lance Corporal Tanksley has to do her thing, and hey, Pops is just gonna be all right. I'm doing my own thing at this point, or was it? Hey, I'm always mindful that I'm not gonna do anything too derogative. It's just, hey, I gotta still be me.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I made sure I didn't do anything that would put me on the news. But I still made sure that I have fun because at the end of the day, I was still a young 20 something year old, and I still deserve to live my life. And like you said, it's like New York City in the South. Like, how
Yeah.
do you not enjoy New Orleans? Everything that the city has to offer.
So was that mind frame a little bit different from implemented throughout the rest of your career? Where you like, as long as I learn that balance, it's more or less not even about dad as opposed to just knowing right from wrong. Do you feel like that was what happened during that transition at your first duty station?
Yeah, I think so. I'm still today everywhere I go. People ask me if I'm related to Sergeant Major Tanksley, and I say yes, that's my dad. And they'll be like, whoa, and then here comes the story. I feel like everywhere I go, I still have to be mindful. I mean, regardless, like we have the UCFJ and laws, period. So I make sure I do what I'm supposed to do, but I still feel like people are watching me and will report back anything that I do or do not do. So it's
Like a
still in the
never
back of my
ending.
mind. I just don't focus on it like I did in the very beginning.
Yeah. It's like a never ending cycle of what's that song that come out every Halloween? Somebody's watching me. It's like that's somebody always there, man. You just get, hey, paparazzi, get out my face. But I mean,
Yeah.
you were down there definitely making your own memories because you ended up getting promoted to Lance Corporal, and then you got the pivotal rank in the Marine Corps, which we like to call Corporal, in December 2008. How were you able to get that? Was it just, hey, look, I'm down there, I'm proving myself at work, outperforming everybody? How did that happen?
I just did my best. Like at the time, we were doing PFTs twice a year instead of just once a year. I just made sure I was staying on top of that, going to the rifle range, all the basic stuff. During that time, I think I was either pregnant with my daughter or I already had my daughter. I know shortly after having her, I became a coach on the rifle range. I was just trying to do anything I could to make myself stand out from my peers. Like McMap, I was trying to belt up as quickly as possible. That's how I tore my ACL shortly after getting the Marfarez. Still to this day, I try and do what I can to set myself apart from others. So I guess I was doing it from the very beginning.
And that was the next thing. You had your daughter, 2009. You went from, hey, look, I'm afraid, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know if I'm going to this boot camp, to now, hey, look, I'm down here, I got to enjoy the New York City of the South, and now here we are, we have a daughter. Was that being in the Marine Corps? Did it change Felicia? Did it make you like, I ain't worried about it, baby is a baby, I'm gonna just keep flowing the way I am, I'm still going to Canal Street? Or was it like something clicked and I had to change?
Um, I definitely changed. I wasn't thinking about going out on the weekends and stuff. She became my world. As a young Lance Corporal, trying to maneuver how to get her to daycare. And then at the time, I had to take a boat to get from one side of the river to the other side. So you had to make sure you caught the boat in time to make it to work in time. You could have drove too, but you got to deal with traffic on the bridge and stuff like that. Once I got my routine, it was it was like clockwork. I think the most stressful part was trying to get back in standards and getting back to a first class POT within height and weight standards, because at that time we only had 6 weeks off and then 9 months to get back to where we needed to be. So I think that was the most stressful part for me, because I didn't want people looking at me in a negative way and being like, she had a child, she isn't doing anything to try and get back to where she needs to be. This is I didn't want to be
Right.
that person. So
Gotcha. Yeah. And so with that, was that expected? Were you in a relationship? Were you on and off? Was it like, hey, I was not expecting this? Were you trying, or was that just like, hey, I have no idea how this happened. I don't know that.
no, I was actually married at the time. It was still unexpected because we weren't trying, but there was no regrets, if that makes sense.
It does.
I was gonna have the baby regardless, so
Yeah.
it is what it is. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
My daughter's here to stay, you know? Nobody going to Pakistan around here, okay? Yeah. Hey.
Right. I was married, but it was still unexpected, but it was a good surprise. So
Yeah. So you said you were married during that time. So you got to experience a lot throughout your journey, all the way up until 2010. The little one, able to get numerous promotions, experiencing the married life. What was marriage like in those early years? Was it everything that you thought it would be? Getting on that dotted line and saying, "Hey, I love this person." What was that like?
it was good, but there was bad times. It was a roller coaster. But you live and you learn. We just made sure that we gave her the best possible life she could have. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. And I'm gonna bring it back because you had something very pivotal happen also in 2010.
Hmm.
I guarantee you probably never forget it. November 1st, ish time frame, car accident.
Hmm.
What was that like? Do you recall that? Was it scary? What was that time like when that happened?
It was scary only because like the initial shock of it. Because we were actually at a red light and then I heard screeching. So I was turning around to see like where it was coming from, and then we got hit from behind or whatever. I'm just grateful she wasn't in the car. She was at daycare. I think if she would have been in the car, it would have been a different feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the car ended up being totaled, but the damage wasn't too crazy. But it just added more stress because we only had one car.
Yeah.
And like trying to go through the process of dealing with insurance and then having to find another car. It was just a lot right before the holidays. But everything worked out, so we were grateful for that.
Yeah, and that's good. It's a pivotal point because we make a point to try to be as safe as we can in the Marine Corps, and any military branch, knowing that we already live this dangerous lifestyle at times, and we've learned throughout the years that it doesn't matter if we're in combat or if we're deployable status, a deployed zone. I've seen Marines and soldiers and military members lose, everything on this side of the United States. So I definitely can understand where you're coming from on that. During that time frame, Felicia is trying to get out of New Orleans. She's like, I just need a way out. You try to get orders. They did not let you leave. They're holding you hostage down there in New Orleans and the New York City. Once you go to New York City, you can't go back. You end up doing something powerful like Lat-Moving. So for all that don't know, can you tell us what prompted that? What is a Lat-Move? And what did you end up moving to?
So a Lat-Move is when you put in a request to go from one MOS to another MOS. I was looking at the options that were available at the time. I really wanted to do CID. Like when I tell you law and like legal and stuff like that, that was the path I really wanted to do. CID was not available at the time. It was closed. I started looking at other MOSs and I chose Intel.
I
Routed
scored
up
high
my
on the
package.
ASVAB.
Well, I actually retook it because it was
Okay.
like my score, it was high. Okay, don't.
Yeah.
I was an alpha. I was an
Yeah.
alpha
Okay.
both
Okay.
times.
Hey, two-time champ. Hey, we're gonna impeach you, bro. We're gonna have to impeach you, man. Come on now.
No, but I had actually retaken the ASVAB to see if I could get it a little higher, and I did. So I ended up going Intel. I was an imagery analyst, and with that, once it got approved, they promoted me to sergeant. I found out when I was on the range, coaching a range, that my package got approved and that I would be getting promoted.
Oh.
So yeah.
Hey. And that's a great thing. I want to hit a couple of points on that because we hear it so much from recruiters out there, no matter what branch, that hey man, just take the job that you up front, man. You can always switch later. And me being a person that has seen it many a times, I'm like, man, once you get in a routine of your job, so I was military police, and I cannot imagine being at my 4 year mark and like I'm gonna switch it up. So kudos to you on that. Was it that you just wanted to change, or you just like I got to get away from this admin, or it's like this is my way out, or what was it that prompted you to say I need to get into another field?
I think I was like, admin's cool. Like you can get jobs once you get out of the Marine Corps with an admin background, but I was like, I want something that could give me something more. Like with Intel, you get a higher clearance. It's just more,
Yeah, just more. I mean, it
just
good. And
more
yeah,
like
and,
I
and
don't.
that's a good thing. I will say. And hey, the bonuses weren't too shabby on the Intel too. I'm gonna throw that
Yeah,
out there.
yeah.
Man,
I can't
it
forget
was I
about the
think
money.
yeah, the what was it? It was air traffic control and Intel at that time. I think the bonus hits had just went away for all the other MOSs at that time. I think it was like from 2007 to about mid 2000, like low 2009. It was like stay with a deployable unit, you get 20K. Then you get another like 40K to stay with certain units that's deploying. And I missed them all, man. I still despise it. But I definitely understand that. So when you switched up in the middle of your career, a little bit older than most during that time frame, was it difficult to learn something complete opposite? I know coming into Intel being one of those things that we see everywhere we go in the world. People imagine the military and they think Intel. So was it hard learning that? Was it tough? Was it like, hey, at some point I'm like, this ain't worth it. It ain't worth the bonus. It ain't worth it. Or how was that?
It was definitely difficult, but the job that I went into at the time, it was a Lat-Move only MOS. So we were all starting from day one. And some of them were staff sergeants and gunnery sergeants. So I could just imagine how they felt. But it was definitely difficult. The stuff that we had to learn, if it wasn't exactly what they wanted you to say or put down, it would be marked wrong. There was no wiggle room for, well, maybe they'd be like, no, it was this. There was frustrating times, but I mean, I understood why it was like that because if you're trying to identify a specific ship or aircraft and you say it's this because you interpreted it a certain way, but it was actually something else, it could change everything else, everyone else's job. So I understood why it was like that, but it was so frustrating because Nobody wants to get answers wrong, especially if you truly feel like you saw what you saw.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was challenging. And then trying to get used to not having your phone all day and not having windows. It
Yeah.
was
Living in a skiff all day. Yeah.
right. And then the study, like you had to stay there. You couldn't take stuff out of the classroom. So it's not like in college where you could study in your room or with your fellow classmates back in a more comfortable area. You had to do it in the classroom.
I will say, without a shadow of a doubt, that that is some of the toughest stuff that a person can go through because um, the current stuff that I do, it definitely bleeds into those skills. And man, you go into a place, no communication with the outside world, and you're just like, man, this is not it. This is not it. But hey, you end up finishing that out, and you get your wish, and you got promoted to sergeant. You get you re-enlist because you're loving the illustrious corps, and you get a new duty station, California. How was it going to Cali on your own this time? Was it like Biggie say, "Well, I'm going back to Cali," or what was it?
Like we said, I joined the Marine Corps from 29 Palms. When I went back to Cali, it was 29 Palms. Um, it was kind of like going back home, because I still knew people there, but it really was not the place I wanted to be. Like, I
Really?
really wanted to go to Pendleton, but uh, a part of me thinks my dad had something to do with it because my dad was the base sergeant major at 29 Palms
Hmm. Okay.
up until a month before I checked in the 29 Palms, and then he became the one Meth sergeant major in Pendleton. So I think he wanted to make sure we didn't end up in the same place. So I
Somebody's
think he made a
watching
phone call.
me. You see that? Somebody's watching. I told you somebody always watching, but I can definitely see that. Dang, that would be that's a wild allegation to make, man. How about that? How about that? Shout out to Pops, man. Shout out to Pops for looking away, looking out, right? So, but during that time, one of the most pivotal points in everyone's career, for some, I won't say everyone because not everyone has that opportunity, you find out that you are going to Afghanistan. Am I right?
Hmm.
What was it like to learn that this was happening?
Honestly, I was excited about it. Like, I wanted to experience a deployment.
Okay.
I feel like if you're in the military, like you're supposed to fight. You know what I mean? Like, does that
Yeah.
make sense? Like
It
being
doesn't,
back
but it
here,
does. I'm right there with you. Hey, I'm right. I'm with you because I understand, but I know a lot of people out here listening. They're gonna be like, "What? You gotta fight?
what
I
is
don't
she
even want to fight
talking
my
about?
brother." So
No, like being back home is just, and I see it now. Like people look at the military as a 9 to 5 job, and
hmm
then if you even say you have to go on a deployment, even if it's just for like 3 months or 6 months, people are upset about it. And I'm
yeah,
like, you're in the military. You're
yeah.
not in a regular 9 to 5 job. So when I say I was excited to go over there is because I felt like I was going to be doing what I joined the military to do. Like, of course, I didn't want to see anybody lose their life, or I didn't want anybody to die, but I wanted to be able to do what I joined the military to do.
I definitely understand that. I kid when I tell people about like me loving to go overseas and deploy, but I always tell people that's the best part about the Marine Corps at times. Funny story, I'm in Baton Rouge, I'm on recruiting duty. I meet this young lady that's down at LSU, and I asked her, I'm like, hey, what do you do? She's like, oh, I can speak like 14 languages. And I was like, damn, right? So it's crazy, man. I said, what are you doing with it? She's like, oh, I just speak it. I said, so you just keep learning languages? You don't never plan to use it? She's like, I'm good. I just wanted to learn them. I asked her a powerful question. She did not join the military, but I asked her, I said, how would it make you feel if you go through your whole life, you just learning languages for no reason? And, it's people out there that you could use that to help. I tell people the Marine Corps will give you a skill and it gives you that real world experience to be able to say, hey, I actually got to use these skills that I was taught. Because nobody wants to say, hey, I'm going to go and learn about imagery, but I'm never going to use it. So you
Right.
being able to go do it, I could definitely understand why you were extra excited to be able to One go over there. I always tell people, me being military police, I went over there and it was cool to see how I performed. And I look back on it, not because I was some war dog or anything like that, but because all the stuff that somebody had trained me to do, when it came down to crunch time, I performed the way that I thought I would. It helps build that character and build that confidence up. So, do you remember that flight going over?
I do.
Okay. Do you want to
It
tell
was
us about it?
horrible.
It was horrible. Okay, so what was that like? Was it what was it? Was it everything that people think? You know, rockets flying by, Iron Man going through. What was it?
No, it wasn't anything like that. For me, anyways, it wasn't like that. It was just my first time. Well, it actually, no, not my first time having a super long flight. Obviously, I didn't remember from when I did the flights when my dad did MSG duty. It was a super long flight, being stuck in those seats. I think my daughter, she was 3 years old. So I was thinking about how I just left her, like the
Yeah.
motherly emotions, how I left her and just praying that I was gonna return back home, anticipating what it's gonna be like once we land. It was just a whole lot of things running through my mind. But I knew I had my brothers and sisters there with me. I wasn't doing it by myself. It was just a lot of things running through your mind. And I feel like that's one of those experiences that you have to have yourself. People can tell you how it's going to be, but everyone's experience is different because everyone has different emotions to different situations. So
You definitely hit the nail on the head when you said definitely something that a person would have to experience, because nobody can just experience sitting in the desert holding the M9, thinking, looking out at the desert on fire watch. It's like it's crazy work, right? It's crazy. It's like, come on, bro,
right.
what are we doing? So when you were over there, most memorable moment, good or bad, what was that like?
I think it was when we celebrated the Marine Corps birthday. They gave us steak and lobster in the chow hall, and then at the time my dad was the sergeant major out there, so he was making his rounds to the different bases, and he came to Camp Dwyer, and I was tired as hell because I was night shift, and so I stayed up my whole shift all the way into the next day just so I could see him, and we ended up taking a picture together before he had to leave and fly somewhere else. I think that one, plus that night they fly in beers sometimes. So we had a beer and then we smoked cigars in a little makeshift fire pit or whatever. So that one, and then I think another one is when he did his post and relief. I was able to fly from Dwyer to Leatherneck to attend that, and he actually gave me the chevrons that was on his collar during his deployment, and then he got on the plane and left, which was an emotional time
Yeah,
for me. He ain't gonna cry,
yeah.
not in front of people if he does cry, but that was an emotional time for me because one, the only other time we were in uniform together was at my boot camp graduation, and two, I knew a few months after I returned back, he was going to be retiring. I knew that was like our last time being together in uniform.
Oh, so you were just all over the place with this one, then, huh?
Hmm.
Your dad is very inspirational, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I've never had a chance to work with him, but just hearing the story, very inspirational on the fact that, man, I gotta do better. I gotta get implemented into my daughter's life. As soon as she get a job, I'm getting it. She work at Walmart. I'm becoming the CEO. Be like, hey, I know this man. This man's Sergeant Major Tanksley. Hey, I want to make that move. I want my daughter to look up 20 years from now and be like, I don't know if my dad was the reason I did. Hey, I want that to wonder. But that's good, and I'm glad you shared that memory with us. So you get back and you go to recruiter course, become a U.S. Marine recruiter. What was that like? Did you want to do that? They got something out there called the HIS list, where you get mandatory assignments. Was that a part of it, or was it like, hey, like any other time, Felicia Tanksley wants to keep pursuing something greater?
I volunteered to do recruiting. I was like, you either volunteer or they're probably going to volunteer you to do something. So I was like, it's my time to reenlist again. So let me just tell them that I would like to do recruiting duty upon reenlistment. So they approved it. My gunnery sergeant at the time, he was trying to get me to push my school date and go on a second deployment with the unit. And I was like, no, I'm good. I'm gonna go on recruiting duty. So I went to the school, made friends with a bunch of people, graduated, and went back to New Orleans.
You just can't escape New York of the South, huh? You know, there's a TV show out, Queen of the South. When you get out and retire, they gonna make you New York of the South. All right, so you're gonna have your own TV series, you're gonna have a little goon squad, everything. What prompted you to want to go back there? Did you choose that, or did an option pop up and you're like, hey, why not?
I did submit a by name request to go back to New Orleans.
What is
One, I wanted.
the by name request exactly?
That's where you reach out to the recruiting station, sergeant major, and send them like your bio and a rundown of your history and a photo, letting them know that you would like to be a part of their team. And they either say yes or no.
Yeah.
So I did that. I just really love New Orleans. Like, even to this day, I love the food, I love the culture. I just, oh, that's another thing. Like, if you've never been to New Orleans, you just don't
I
understand.
don't understand
It's
until you
just,
go there.
it's an experience all of its own. Like, yeah, there's bad parts everywhere. But for me, there was more good than bad. And like I said, I still know people down there. So that's like home number two.
I'm right there with you. So I was also stationed in New Orleans twice. Well, New Orleans, and then I was stationed Gonzales. But
Mhm.
man, it is a time. Like, it's good if you're single. It's good if you're married. It's good family time. It's good party time. It's good do stuff with the kiddos, the fam. So I definitely agree with you on that. And you graduate from recruiting school. Was it difficult? Like, what was that like? Were you already a well spoken person prior to going there?
I wouldn't say I was a well-spoken person. I was kind of introverted, speaking in front of people. So going to the school and having to talk in front of the class and them recording you and then telling you like you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that, and it's just a part of who you are. Like, they told me not to talk with my hands. Guess what? I still talk with my hands today.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just what I do. But I think it helped me be able to just do it. Like,
Yeah.
just say fuck it. Like
Yeah, pretty. Hey, that's what it boiled down to. I was not a studier when I was in recruiter school, so a lot of them were like, "Hey, man, you gonna have fucking trouble when you get out there because you like the fucking gray area too much." And I'm like, "Me, gray area? Nah, man." They're like, hey, "You great energy. You can talk a horse into water. You ain't even gotta worry about them drinking it." That's what my instructor told me. I never forget him. He said, "Boy, you can talk the horse into the goddamn water, but." The problem is we don't need them in the goddamn water. We need them just to drink it. So you get done with that and you get to New Orleans. Everybody usually coming out of recruit school is really amped. I can't wait to get out there and help the world become a better place, solve world peace. What was your experience coming out of recruiting school? Was it good energy? Was it bad energy? Was you feeling it? And what was it like transitioning to that first place? Was it everything that you thought it would be? Starting off.
it was definitely difficult. Only because I think the person I took over for wasn't there anymore. So I did have Gunner Star Martin,
Yeah.
you
Hey,
know.
shout out to Henry Martin. Come on.
Right. I did have him to help guide me a little bit, take me to the schools and stuff because he's from that area, so he knew everybody and their mama. Um I had him, but it was still, I didn't want to be in nobody's shadow. So I liked that he took the time to take me around and stuff, but at the same time I was like, I can't have him with me because
Let me fly.
I can't be myself. You know, you're constantly watching what I'm doing and saying and not letting me get to my comfort zone to where I could just do stuff naturally, because I'm constantly worrying about what are you thinking about my actions and my words and stuff like that, and people coming to you and talking to you because they know you, instead
Yeah.
of allowing me to like build that rapport with everybody. So
And
it
do
was difficult, but once I got um used to everybody and people got used to me, and I just, it's all about making the kids know that you're genuine. They can see right through you. If you're not being genuine and being yourself and telling them the truth instead of telling them what they want to hear, they're not going to respect you. And with the inner city schools, it's all about respect. So I love talking shit. They like talking shit. I talk shit back. It's just, it was just one of those things.
I'm right there with you. I used to tell recruiters all the time, hey, like, man, if you just go out there and be natural. I mean, I was weird, so my boss, for the little time that I had them, they were like, hey, man, you should go to the mall. I'm like, bro, I'm going to the basketball court, and that's where I'm gonna sit, and I will find it. And I tell people, go to your natural habitat, and then you won't have to fake. I've seen a lot of recruiters go out there and be, I was this football star. Like, bro, you were in chess club. Stop it now. Stop it. You are not. You're not what you say you are. Quick Google search
Right.
says it's not. So I tell people, just be natural and just be genuine, like you said. Got to realize that everybody is not meant for the Marine Corps, but the story can be told. So did you ever find you a time when you were in on recruiting duty where you struggled, or was it always like, hey, I'm fighting up a hill, or was it always just like, hey, this is a cakewalk?
I think the time that I struggled the most was probably, so I found out that I was pregnant again,
Okay.
but I ended up losing it obviously before they were due. But I think during that time was the most difficult time for me. One, because I couldn't fit in any of my uniforms. So walking around the schools in civilian attire, like I kind of looked like a student. And then when you're pregnant, you're trying to protect your child. So it
Kids
was
in there.
just a lot going on. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't want nobody near me. And the schools that I liked being in, the kids were rowdy sometimes. Like the fights would break out. And I think one time students were fighting the teachers. And I was like, I really shouldn't be in here right now, but I still have to make mission. I think the time that I was pregnant and then the time after I ended up losing it, that was the more stressful time for me, and they decided to move me to MEPS to like give me just a little mental break or whatever. Of
Little
course I
did you
killed it
know.
at MEPS. I killed it at
Yeah.
MEPS.
But little did you know, you like, oh, I'm about to get a break. Whew. MEPS problem of his own, right?
It was not a break.
Yeah.
I had to be to work super early, but I enjoyed it. It showed me the other part of recruiting duty. A lot of people like, they send the people who are struggling and can't do nothing to MEPS or pool program specialists. But I enjoyed being at MEPS, even though like I had to wake up super early. It showed me the other process of the recruiting process. And I felt like it was another way for me to help the recruiters and the kids. Like, there's things that happen where stuff has to be fixed right away, or, and I'm not talking about illegal stuff when I
Yeah.
say stuff has to be fixed
No
right
one does
away.
illegal stuff. Right? Diablo loco. Yeah.
But I was able to communicate back and forth, like between, like be the advocate for the recruiter with like the medical staff or the testing staff. Because sometimes people didn't put the test in the system, but we got
Correct.
to get this person testing. So I enjoyed that. And then I asked to be a staff at CIC. I didn't know where they was going to put me. I just told him I wanted to run a station before I left recruiting duty. Like, even if I couldn't be a 12, I wanted to run a station.
Now, at any point, did you want to be a 12?
Yeah.
Okay. You
So at
telling me that the
8-14,
life is stressful and people bully me in school? Like, I'm like, some is like we said, everybody ain't what they say they are. So some of the people that might be Marines, they might have been getting bullied at school, so they going back in there getting bullied again, all over again. So what prompted you to want to be a 12? What is a 12, and what was that about?
So at 8412 is a career recruiter. That is their job all the way until they retire, pretty much, unless they put F on their fit rep and get selected as a first sergeant, and then they go back to the fleet. If you,
And go to North Carolina.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, 8412 is a career recruiter. I don't know, like I really enjoyed finding the future of the Marine Corps. Was it irritating at times? Absolutely. Just like when you're anywhere else, like Marines irritate you. Like the
Yes,
police,
yeah,
of course, they're gonna irritate you. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like I love seeing the process of trying to get them to pass the ASVAB or lose weight or pass the IST, and then them going to recruit training and coming back, and you see a totally different person. Sometimes I don't know if they actually went to boot camp because they come back the same person.
yeah.
Um, seeing them turn into a different person, and having them go to the fleet, it was nice. So I wanted to continue to do that. At the time, I had just reenlist listed as Intel, and I got a bonus.
Hey,
So
come on.
my monitor was like, "No, ma'am, we're not doing that. I just
Yeah,
gave you money to stay in your MOS, so you're gonna come on back." So that's how that happened. I don't regret any of it. Yeah, I had my struggles. I bounced back. I didn't let it keep me down, because that was one thing I was like, I do not want to get GOS'd or RFC'd and sent back to the fleet before I finish my tour. I'm going to finish.
yeah. And we're not
Yeah, I
gonna make
don't.
it sound like it was like a downfall because you went from, I think going to MEPS might have been the push that pushed you over the edge because you go and you become the station commander of, at that moment, it was not the number one station, but at some moment, you took over New Orleans and you became the staff in SUIC. I mean, yes, you asked for it, but it's one thing to ask for it and not do too well, but you ended up doing great. So what was that journey like now that you know you came from this recruiter, you had some adversity, but you still made numbers because you were able to stay out there, and then you ended up going to see the other side, which a lot of people do not get to see. Like myself, I never got to see the MEP side. I argue with MEPs a lot, probably because I didn't check a lot of the paperwork going down because I trusted people, but that might have been it. That might have been it. But we're not gonna worry about that. We're gonna say, hey, I got the kid down there. I mean, so what if he had a broke arm? I mean, but no. But the whole point being, you go to New Orleans, you become the station commander. What is that like now that you are no longer the person out there doing the extra recruiting as opposed to showing and leading?
I still felt like I could make an impact, and I feel like MEPS helped me with that because I knew how to prepare the kid ahead of time.
Yeah,
And I could help the recruiter out and make sure everything was on point when it came to the packages. I made sure I looked at it before it went anywhere because
yeah.
we were not going to have any discrepancies.
Cause you know that, what is it? The shout out to the Shay Shay show, Shannon Sharp show. Cause you know he had this little clip that's going viral. He looked over at the camera. He's like, "Shut the fuck up!" Right? You seen that? You see that? Then he came right back on camera smiling. That's kind of like what it is being a boss. You know, that's right. Hey, you just do that moment and you're good. But yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead, go ahead. So you said you end up learning both sides. You're able to prep the kid. What was the impact more like when it was on this side where you're like, hey, now I'm able to make a bigger influence? You just said that you were loving the process. Were you able to impact it more now as a boss, or did you find yourself working just as hard?
I didn't find myself working just as hard. I felt like I had some good recruiters that they understood what needed to happen. They did their part, and then I felt like it was my part to make sure that they went to MEPS and was successful. Because you can have the perfect person or the perfect kid, but once they go to MEPS, I don't know what happens. Like
Yeah,
all hell breaks loose.
yeah,
So I feel like it was my job to make sure that they went down there and they were successful and came back in the delayed entry program and ready to go. So I felt like that was the impact that I made, and it helped make the station. I think we were number one time. maybe one time. But I think it helped make the station be successful at the end
Yeah.
of the day.
And you say one time, but consistently across the board, you all were able to make mission,
Hmm.
which I think a lot of people discredit because as Marines, I always used to say on recruiting duty, in a room full of Olympians, it's hard to shine. But you take that Olympian, you put them with the average. We got the other branches out here. No shout out to the other branches, but I was talking with the Army, I was talking with the Navy, the Air Force, not so much. Air Force was always on point. They just had people literally walking
Right.
in like they was Elon Musk robots. I mean, like the robots on the street in New York. So, I mean, I don't know what it was, but they just had people walk in and ready to go. But they were not making missions. I think that's a very positive thing. I think in the Marine Corps, we try to rationalize if we're not first, we're last. But ultimately, we always pulled our end, and it's definitely something that y'all did. And you finished up a successful duty out there on recruiting duty, and you find out that you're getting orders to Okinawa, Japan. So
Hmm.
we already discussed how, leaving the little one once was, you're on a flight, just shaking, and you're like, oh, my fucking kid is back home. Your pops left on a plane like he in Armageddon, leaving on the jet plane. And now did you end up being able to take your family out there this time around, or what was that?
No, I ended up going by myself for 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, that was that was an emotional time again. But I just said this is what I have to do.
So was it something that you asked for, or was we call them the monitor in the Marine Corps, but was the monitor pressured to do this because of your position, or how did it come about that you had to go to Okinawa?
So part of it was being on recruiting, like I pretty much worked all the way until it was time for me to leave. When you're moving overseas, like there's a lot to the process. And I honestly didn't think I was be able to get everything done to bring the family. So I did ask to go unaccompanied. He did not change my orders to make it unaccompanied, so that caused some issues when I got over to Oki, but he did know that I was going by myself. So it was a hard decision to make, but I felt like since she already had a life in New Orleans and there was support there, that it was going to be okay. Do I regret the decision? I do have some regrets because I think that she would have really liked living over in Oki. But at the time, I felt like I was doing what was best for everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that's a hard decision, not only as a Marine, but just as a parent. At some point, the Marine uniform comes off, and you have to make decisions as a parent. And that's probably one of them. It's never easy to be able to just say, "Hey, you know what? I'm just gonna up and take off without the kiddo at the hubby at the time." And I'm just like, it's something to do. What's better than no decision? A decision. So you go out to Japan. Was that your first time being there?
Hmm.
So removing everything else, you're in Japan. You know, Konnichiwa, right? Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was like, man, I hope I get this language right, bro. It's gonna be crazy. But Konnichiwa, right? So you go out to Japan. What is Japan like? That's one place I never got to experience. I've heard a lot of Marines tell me about it. What was it like going out to Japan?
It was beautiful. Like Okinawa is an island off of mainland Japan, and it was beautiful. The people were nice. There was a lot to do, and you could experience the culture no matter where you went. And I was stationed on Camp Hansen, and they had a program where you could volunteer to teach Japanese adults how to speak English. So I did that for a little bit. They put teams together to do dragon boat races. I did that with a team for my unit. Like I saw the tug of war contest. I got to participate in that. It's like a huge rope. Like I don't even I don't even know how to describe how huge this rope is, but it is humongous. And I got to participate in that, and then you get to cut a piece of the rope off after the competition. I never got to see sumo wrestlers wrestle each other. That's one thing I wish I could have seen, but it's just so much to see on that island, and you could travel. for cheap, like to different countries around. I got to go to Bali and Thailand. I decided to start traveling late, so I didn't get to
Yeah.
visit.
But so the question I have for that, you didn't get to visit everywhere you wanted, but Bali, that's on my hit list. Was it as beautiful as it's supposed to be, or did we see on these commercials?
No, it was beautiful. It was
Uh,
very
I was
beautiful.
hoping you say no. I was like, no,
I
just take it
I
off.
would go back a second time. I really want to go to the Maldives. That is on my hit list, and I wish I could have went when I was on that side of the world because it would be cheaper to travel. Yeah, Bali was beautiful.
Did you ever feel out of place over there? They say, I've always been told, I don't know if it's true. They say every black person that goes over there usually like they think you like a rapper or a basketball player. So I don't know if that's true or not. But did you ever feel out of place in Japan, or did you always feel like the people were nice? It's always a good culture. I know you being on the military installation, it was always like you're around Marines, military members. But did you ever feel out of place?
Honestly, no,
Okay.
I didn't. I think being a female is kind of different. I don't think they see
Yeah.
us as basketball players, but yeah, I didn't ever feel awkward or anything.
So you go over there, and your new position is as a production chief for
Mhm.
imagery. What was different about that? Was that a new role, or is that something you had already been trained for, or is it something like, damn, I'm learning something new once again?
Yeah, I was pretty much learning something new once again. Plus, I had been out of the MOS for 3 years because of recruiting duties. So I was trying to refresh my memory on what's going on at that time because with Intel, things change at a rapid pace. So you could have been used to one way of doing things, but 6 months to a year later, things are done totally different. They have new programs, systems, everything like that. So yeah, there was a bit I had to refresh my memory on and learn because the programs had changed since the last time I was doing it.
So it was exactly like you explained, where it's like the systems are not the same. I wish
Hmm.
I had been able to stay on recruit duty, but I cannot. But you did do something very great out there and got to a rank that a lot of people are not able to get to, which is gunnery sergeant. You ended up taking on a position out there being a company guns or company gunnery sergeant. Was that an additional role that you had, or was that something that you decided to take on and they moved you out of your department?
So they asked me if I was interested in doing it because I had told them that I was probably going to put F on my fit rep when I did get promoted. So they asked me if that was something I wanted to do to try and help in that role because a lot of people like to stay in their MOS, so they don't want to get taken out of it. I contemplated on if I wanted to do it or not. I mean, I felt like they were going to tell me to do it regardless, but I told them, sure, I'll do it after I got back from Korea because I did an exercise over in Korea. That's when I moved over to be the company guns.
And was that a full time job, or was that kind of like, hey, you're gonna do that on top of doing what you're doing with the other stuff, or was it like, hey, now you're just dealing with Marines and the Marines? You know what I mean?
No, it was a full-time job.
Okay,
I
yeah,
did it, yeah, and I don't know, I just like it, like, I just like running shit.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Come on, speak that.
like,
Yeah, for the people in the back.
I just did it, and I wanted to get to the point to where I did not need the first sergeant to be at work. Like, and I got to that point. I'd be like, go home, be with your family. I'm out here by myself, so whatever needs to happen, I can make sure it happens. I don't need you. And
Yeah.
some people would probably get offended by that, but I think it's a good thing. If you're a top person, I don't feel like you should have to be at work all the time. Like your assistant, which a company guns is pretty much the first sergeant's assistant, they should be able to run stuff without you being there. So that's what I always wanted to do is be able to be like, first sergeant, just go home. I don't need you. I'm
Now,
running
was you
shit, you
able
know.
to accomplish that? Was that your first assignment that you were able to accomplish that, or is that something that has always been First Sergeant Tanksley's bag, where it's like, hey, everywhere I go, my job is to be able to make sure my boss know I do not need them here, or was that this the first place? Hey, I'm able to establish. Hey, go home. get out of here, scat, you know.
So I've always had that mindset. Some places it's harder to be able to truly accomplish that. I think I was able to do it on recruiting duty when I was at MEPS because they put an 11 and a 12 at MEPS, and I got to the point where I was like, I don't need the 12. I don't need you to be here. Should you be here? Yes, probably,
Yeah,
but I don't need
legally.
you to be here. Yeah. But that's always my goal. Like even now, I'll be like, I don't need my company commander to be at work. You know what I mean? Like I got it. Like you don't have to worry about shit. I got it. But it's harder with them because officers they got to do officer things.
Correct. Yeah, yeah.
But I still they know like I don't have to worry about anything because I know that she has it. So that's always been my goal. I don't like people feeling like they have to be at work because they feel like I'm not confident enough or you ain't got to worry about nothing. I got it.
Gotcha. And I shout out to you on that because that's something I learned later in my career. I always, I think, had that desire to be able to do that, and I think I did. It just never was spoken into action. It just naturally happened. I think when I got off recruiting duty, it was that's when it hit stone, hit the wall. I mean, I think when I got done, I was the number one station. I was running it. It was no question about who was the number one small station. I had it right, and when I left, it fucking destroyed. It just went under like the Titanic. Like I mean, no question asked. It went under, and I was like, damn, that's crazy. That's crazy work, right? And I talked to a person. I ain't gonna say who it was, but I talked to him like, hey man, sir, that's crazy work. He was like, yeah, it is crazy, but hey, I'm like, man, only H could do it. He's like, but that's not a good thing. He finally broke it down, and it's something that I always knew. It's just hearing that out of somebody's mouth was different. Was hey, you always need to make sure you're preparing for the worst, which is you get knocked off tomorrow, somebody else can walk in and take your place, and the institution could still be ran properly. And that's something that I thought that I did. I thought that it was implemented, but I didn't do those values to make sure that they know, hey, this is taken care of, this is taken care of, this is how you do it, and make sure it's efficient. I told them how to do it, but whether or not it was able to be accomplished was a different thing. So I definitely take my hat off to you on that, where it's like, hey, you're doing that, you're allowing them to go home, be with their family and stuff like that. So, you finish up in Japan, and how do you end up on the other side of the US? Is this by choice, or is this somebody watching you? Is it somebody that's like, hey, we know you remember me? You're going somewhere I tell you to go again. Did you get to pick your next assignment out in Virginia, or was it like, hey, voluntold again?
So the Massagans that was at third intel when I was in Oki, he was like, I want you to come to MCIA, which is Marine Corps Intelligence Activity in Quantico. I want you to go there because that's where he was going. Um, and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Always heard bad stories about that place. And I don't want to be stressed out.
yeah,
I don't want to deal with the bullshit. And he was like, no, it's not going to be like that. I'm going to be over there and I'm going to make sure things are done the way they need to be done. Blah, blah, blah. Your heart starts beating fast because you're like, am I going to make the right decision? Am I not going to make the right decision? But I finally told him, yes, I'll go to MCIA. So that's how I ended up there. I don't have any regrets because it's a good place for the Intel community to go to. A lot of people that are intending on retiring, trying to go there, obviously, because it's by DC where a lot of Intel jobs are and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't regret going there. I think everything happens for a reason. I think I didn't go there earlier in my career because it just wasn't the right time. But for him to say that he wanted me to go there, I think it was what needed to happen. So that's how I ended up in Quantico.
and when you look at it, you went out there, I'm guessing, to do Intel job, correct?
Hmm.
But you still found your way to being the senior enlisted advisor. Like you just like, you know what? I still need to run shit, right? I need this. It ain't no need at this point. It's gonna happen. So how did we go to being Intel being out there and doing your intel job to now you're being the senior listed advisor for headquarter and service company?
Once again, they knew I was putting F on my fit reps. So they were like, well, she wants to be a first sergeant anyways. So why don't we just pull her to fill that position? Because it was a full time position. It wasn't me doing intel and that.
Did they during that time, every time that this happened, do any of them get like pissed off and like, you really leaving again? Like they lose a body. Like I'm working at a job now. We got like minimum bodies at times, and I'm like, bro, we lose another body, and somebody else's body gonna come up. Like we can't do this. So were there any hate and discontent about that, or were they people really happy to see you prosper?
Well, at that time, COVID was still high. It was still towards the beginning of COVID. So a lot of people weren't able to be at work at the same time anyways, because obviously we have to be in a skiff to do our job, but they didn't want everybody in the building spreading
Yeah,
the disease.
yeah.
Yeah, everybody couldn't be in the building at the same time anyway, so I think at that time it didn't really affect personnel counts or anything because we couldn't fully function like we were before. So at this time, I don't think that was an issue.
Tanks was
I
plotting
think
during the COVID. Hey, don't let no disaster come around. Tanks got a plan, man. She got a plan. She's like, I got this shit. Oh, you worry about that cough. I'm about to get this position. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I took the position and ran with it and I did my thing. Like, but
and
when
not
I
only
say
did
I
you,
like to run shit, I I build good relationships with people. Like, I'm not a bulldog about it.
yeah,
When I have to be, I will be. But I make sure I build relationships with people because it's all about respect. You respect me, I respect you. And at the end of the day, it's the mission. Like, we need to accomplish the mission, get it done the best way we can. If you don't like something, come with a suggestion on how to fix it. Uh, if you can't, then we gonna do what we gotta do.
yeah. And
Uh,
that's one thing that always kind of like puzzled me about the Marine Corps. I learned it at an early rank. Something was going on in my family at the time. I was single. Something was going on with the parents, and I was like, man, I got to do this. And they were like, bro, you don't understand the Marine Corps values. Like, it's mission accomplishment, then troop warfare. I'm like, when they told me that, I was like, nah, that's the other way around. Like, I think that they really tried to get me with that. And I don't think I ever had read that. I think I just skimmed over that part. If we ever were taught it, I didn't learn it. I swear, I was just like, yeah, family first. But I had to learn, how does that sit with you? Do you really truly believe that it's mission accomplishment, then troop warfare?
I mean, I've definitely been on the side where it was mission first and you second. Even if the stuff involves you, you're still second.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that's how the Marine Corps runs, mission first, but I try to look at Marines as people. Everybody's situation is different. Sometimes you can say, yes, the mission comes first, but sometimes you need to realize, like, this is a human being and they need to come first. Like, if you have the personnel and or the resources to still accomplish the mission without that person, then do it. I don't feel like there's any situation to where there's not a way to get what you need if somebody truly needs to not be there.
It's true. and
Yeah.
and I learned that very quick. And I joke about people like me not understanding it. I obviously did. That's why I learned the gray area. The gray area is there's always some fine writing. Obviously, the Marine Corps says that it's mission accomplishment then troop warfare, but sometimes the mission is the troops. So therefore, putting them first, you do accomplish the mission. So, but you understand that because at this point in your career, you end up doing something that a lot of people, I don't know the exact statistics of it, but when I tell you a lot of Marines will never experience being frocked to first sergeant, they will never. So tell us, how did that come to be? You being frocked, and explain to us, what is that? What was the process like? And did you expect it, or it was just like, hey, it's happening?
So when you're frocked to first sergeant, that means you pretty much have like the promotion ceremony, you pin on the rank, you're just not getting paid to do that rank yet until your number comes and you're officially promoted to that rank. I was expecting it. Like in the intel community, some units they don't deal with first sergeants. Like like MCIA, they didn't have actual first sergeants, and they just got a sergeant major for the first time last year. Last year, or yeah, it was last summer. They got a sergeant major for the first time. So they didn't even deal with sergeants major. It was always a master gun. So the master guns that was there at the time, he really wanted me to be frogged so that he could say that he had a first sergeant work for him because he'd never had that before. So I ended up getting frocked in May, and then I PCS'd in June, and
Hey,
I became I became an official first sergeant July 1st. So I wasn't frocked that long before it became official. Yeah.
and it doesn't take away from the power of the frog because I'm telling you, people used to give me all the time and be like, "Man, I'm a corporal." I said, "I was meritorious corporal." I was like, "I'm a sergeant. I was meritorious sergeant." Hey, it's a difference. Like, bro, we still wear the same way. Bro, you did not get your stuff like I got mine. You know what I mean? We are not the
Right.
same. Like Lil Wayne said, we are not the same. I am a Martian. You General Pop. All right, so get over there. But during that time throughout your career, you did something more powerful, in my eyes, because I know how difficult it was. You pursue higher education, in which and you ended up getting your associate's degree in March of 2015. In 2018, you ended up getting your bachelor degree. In 2024, you ended up getting your master degree. How I always tell people when you're doing something, people ask why, and then once you complete it, all they can say is how. So how did this happen, and why did you pursue that so hard?
Um, Obviously it took me a long time. I always wanted to have a higher education. Like I told you before, my parents didn't do college, so I wanted to make sure that I did.
So your dad, did he ever pursue the college degrees, or
Mm.
oh, you a bad one then, Tank? You a bad one. Hey, like now you got some over pops. Hey, hey, pops gonna have to stand back for a little bit then. No, go ahead though, but hey.
Yeah, but no, I always wanted to pursue education. I thought I was gonna stop at my associates, and I said, but why? Like, if people are getting their bachelor's, you need to get your bachelor's too. So I decided to go for my bachelor's, and then I was like, well, it feels like everyone has a bachelor's, so I'm gonna go for my master's.
Yeah.
And that's how I just kept going. And a part of me now wants to try and go for my doctorate, but I'm exhausted right now. So
Yeah.
that may be in the near future. I don't know yet, but yeah, I've never been the type of person that likes being basic. Like if someone tells me I can't do something or they don't think I can do it, I want to prove them wrong. Or if I see someone doing one thing, I want to try and do something more. Like I don't like being basic, average. I just don't like it.
That is no small accomplishment. I hear it so much. Oh, I'm gonna get my degree when I get in. I was the prodigy of I'm gonna do it when I get in. I promised my mom I was gonna do it. I did start college when I was in, and then after that, I was like, man, I'm not doing this. I did it for a little bit, did a course here, did a course there, probably, and I kept switching to major because I thought it was like, oh, this is gonna be better, and I never completed any of it until I got out the military. So I know how hard it is to do that while you're in, and I will encourage you to just continue doing what you're doing because it'll make it seem like it because now you're at the top. It might seem like everybody at the top has their degree. Everybody has their associate. Everybody has their bachelor. But I'm telling you, it is not as well known as you think. You are in that curriculum of like 1 or 2 percenters of military members that have any education, let alone a degree. So we talk about that, but then we go to something that is somewhat big in the Marine Corps, which is fitness. What
Mhm.
has fitness done for you? What does fitness play in your career?
I mean, I've always liked being in shape because, like I said, growing up, I played sports and stuff, and I love being outside. It's definitely kept me I don't want to say kept me feeling young because right now I feel old as
Makes you
hell.
feel old. Makes you feel old quick.
My body definitely feels everything. Um, I try to go to the gym every day. It's like a stress reliever for me. It's like self-care time, which it took me a long time to realize like you have to have self-care throughout the day. If you can't have it every day, try and make it majority of your week because mental health is a big thing.
It
And in the
is.
military, I know we like to put it on the back burner, but we have to make it a priority to make sure that we're able to be as healthy as possible to finish out our career, even after we get out of the career, and to be here for our families and friends as long as possible. So, fitness, I'm trying to make that a big part of my life, not just to be successful in the military, but to also help with the mental health, self care aspect of life as well.
Yeah. And it is a big thing. I tell people all day, it's 24 hours in a day. And if you can't find 1 hour in 24 hours to give to yourself when giving the world sleep 23 hours, then we got to reevaluate some stuff because it's crazy when you think about it. Then the more you do it, the more you're like, you know what, I want to do an hour and a half. I want to do this. I want to try this out. So, and coming from a person that can't do as much as I used to, I can't go. I used to get mad at people. I could. Every time I see somebody run, I just want to cut their Achilles because I can't run anymore. I can't do that. But I walk long miles. I ride bikes because it's low impact. I had numerous back surgeries, but I tell people, enjoy it and implement it into your life because it, like you said, it is a stress reliever, is a mental health break. So we fast forward. We're looking at life. Tanksley ends up, y'all, you separate from the hubby, right?
Hmm.
So being married in the military, what has it taught you about life?
It's taught me that you definitely have to have a strong support system. Just because you're married doesn't mean you have the support that you need. So you definitely have to make sure you're picking the right person. Everybody says that, but you know when you haven't picked the right person. Like life will be a lot harder for you than it needs to be. And I will say I didn't realize that until I went to Okinawa by myself. So I feel like that was another blessing for me to go by myself. Yeah, it taught me that if I do end up married again, like make sure it's the right person because you don't want to end up in the same situation that you got out of. But support is huge when you're in the military because you don't know what your day is going to look like. And I say that because especially when you get in the higher ranks, you're responsible for everybody, not just the people in your platoon or squad or whatever. Like I'm in charge of the company. So everybody in the company, I have to make sure is good and taken care of and everything like that. Recently, I lost one of my Marines and it's the grieving was a little difficult because I didn't have like that support at home. But some people they may have someone at home and still don't have the support because that person doesn't care or they're all about themselves and aren't focused on what you need. Just because you have someone at home doesn't mean that you're happy or that you have the support that you need or anything like that. So it definitely taught me that you could be lonely while having someone at home. You could still have to do everything even having someone at home. So make sure you pick the right person to have in your life because it is extremely important.
It is. And when you think about it from that angle, how is that helping you to approach dating now as a single parent?
Hmm.
Or are you just like, hey, you know what? I ain't even looking no more. I'm done. You know what I'm saying? Drewski out here, man. I'm good. I don't know which way it's gonna go. I don't know which way it's gonna go.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think about it. I just work is exhausting. Making sure my daughter is good is exhausting. Like
Yeah.
I don't care about it right now.
My question for you is, Do you feel like your military career and you being such a strong, welded person in society nowadays, do you feel like it affects friends? Do you feel like it affects your potential partners? Do you feel like a lot of people out there look at you and they're like, man, I'm intimidated because of how much this person has going on?
Um, Honestly, it's a possibility. I know that I'm a strong-willed person and I could probably be a lot to handle sometimes because I'm so independent. Like I've had to be so independent for so long. Sometimes I don't know how to let a man be a man, if that makes sense. Like if you don't beat me to the door, I'm going to open the door. Like I'm not going to stand there waiting for you to catch up to open the door for me
Now, do you
because then
get
I feel
mad if they
stupid.
don't open the door though? Oh, so like, hey, look, you got 10 seconds, get to the door, open it, and if you don't open it, guess what? Now you're fucked. You're fucking done, kid. Fuck out of here, bro. Somebody get him out of here. Like Drewski guard. Like I just gotta keep referencing Drewski because you're gonna have the guards come. Hey, get him off fucking stage. Get him off stage. Like so. Okay, okay, I got you.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if I have to carry stuff, I'm going to carry. Like, my mind is so used to having to do everything. If you don't beat me to something, I'm going to end up doing it. Like, just because that's what I'm used to. Like, I'm not used to waiting for someone to do something. You need to just do it. You know what I mean? Like, so I just,
Okay.
it
So
might, I don't know.
I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's just, hey, it's always good. It's always good.
And plus, I got RBF, so people probably scared to talk to me anyway.
You got what?
RBF,
What is that?
resting bitch face.
Okay.
Like if I don't smile, people probably think I'm pissed off at the world.
Well, fucking smile.
I try to smile as much as possible,
You
but
be like, smile.
dang.
I am smiling. You see the look on my face? Fuck you looking at my face for long for? God damn, I first aren't. Some shit like that, right? Okay. So now the question I have with that is, could it get into the civilian sector where you like, hey, I could see myself dating a civilian man as opposed to a military man? Or are you like, hey, military man is probably gonna be the best go to because they understand the lifestyle, we similar, or are you like, hey, I'm just open. I'm not one. You said you're not worried about it, but just looking at it from my mind frame.
Honestly, a man is gonna be a man. It don't matter if they're in the military, if they're a civilian,
Damn, we all in one category. Everybody in one category.
like I just I don't know. Like I honestly I'm just disappointed in men. Like the stories I hear, the stuff I see, I'm disappointed.
Hey, come
I'm
on.
just really disappointed. So that's kept me from.
City boys is just not doing it. City boys up, man. Sit real man down, I guess. Hey, we gotta do better out here, guys. We gotta do better. So, okay,
Yeah, I don't know. It's just not something. And I feel like if you're like, I really need to have somebody in my life or stuff like that, that's where you end up choosing the wrong person and you end up not happy anyway. So
yeah.
I
And
just
I agree with you on that. And I know ultimately, men or women, they definitely got to put their effort in. The effort. I joke a lot about it, but I tell people ultimately, you want something to work, then you got to put the effort in. It doesn't matter. Nothing is gonna be easy. I told somebody at work the other day, a young fella, he was telling me about some stuff that was going on. And I just told him, I said, yo, pick your hard. Life is hard. Being married is hard. Being single is hard. Being in a relationship is hard. Pick your hard, bro. You're good. Everything is going to be hard. It's just a matter of what you want. Obviously, like you said, if it's too much, you will know. You'll know if it's too much, and it's like, hey, things could be better off sometimes splitting ways. And I guarantee throughout the years, some happiness happened in relationships, some bad stuff happened in relationships, but ultimately it makes us into the person that we are today. So, 18 years in the Marine Corps, what is the most rewarding aspect of your service that you feel like that you have done?
uh, uh I would say it would be when I was a recruiter. because I feel like I was able to mentor the future. And it wasn't even people just that came through the New Orleans office, it was other stations too, especially ones that have females. I felt like I could help out with them. And then I think like my current position right now, being a female first sergeant, because there's very few that make it to this level. E8 period, where whether it's master sergeant, first sergeant, master gun, sergeant major, I feel like there's very few females that make it to this level. And then with me being attached to schoolhouses, it's still within the training pipeline, like before they get to the fleet. And
To the
I've
pride
just,
land.
yeah. I've just been trying to mentor them as much as possible because I feel like my time is coming short, especially the females. I tell them when you get to the fleet, you may or may not have good female leadership. You may or may not be able to talk to senior personnel. So I just try to make myself available as much as possible so that they could pick my brain, get whatever they need before they get to the fleet, and potentially not be able to be mentored by a female. I don't know, that's important to me because we are rare. A lot of them don't stay in very long. I didn't have too many people to look up to coming up through the Marine Corps, so I just wanted to make a difference as much as I could before my time came to where I hung up my uniform and called it a day.
And ain't nothing wrong with that. I will say the biggest impact that I've ever had on my entire career, and I want to say she might still be in, but she might not. Her name at the time was First Sergeant Bolanos, and the last time I checked, she was Sergeant Major Bolanos in charge of like Okinawa somewhere, and she was the fucking shit, bro. Like she fucking taught me everything. I remember being on my first convoy, anything, and she was like, "Yo, flip a bitch," and I was like, and she's like, flip a bitch. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, Harrington. Somebody slapped me in the back of my Kevlar. What the fuck does that mean? Like, turn the fucking vehicle around, Harrington. I'm like, goddamn. She ended up doing it, and then she get back. She's fucking smoking a cigarette, and she fucking like, you know what? I'm gonna fuck y'all up since Harrington don't know what the fuck he's doing. She took me on this fucking like 9 mile run, and I didn't keep up. I fucking dropped out, and she still smoked everybody, bro. But even then, it showed me like she would complain about stuff, but then she would hold you accountable. But then the most powerful moment was not that she complained and she fucking held you accountable, is the fact that everything she told you to do, she'd be right there doing it with you. I was like, I'm like, man, she gonna fucking make us. Hey, when y'all get back, make sure y'all take them on the run too. I'm like, yeah, of course you fucking would. Fuck, right? Then she be like, fucking, I be on the run with the sergeant. I remember forget him, Sergeant Soto. Look up, she's fucking right there beside me. You thought I was fucking leaving you? And she's smoking a fucking cigarette. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this woman, right? But she had such a powerful impact on me. Went on my first deployment with me. Ended up getting selected out there for as the company first sergeant, and then I mean she still takes off. So I definitely understand they are a rare breed, and you are a rare breed on that part, and just got to keep climbing. So, any advice that you would give to young women out there that's considering, and a pause with that too, is that your recruiting, you said the most powerful moment that you had on recruiting duty. I also felt the same way because there was a time where I wanted to stay on recruiting and I couldn't, because of just so many moving parts. It wasn't because I wasn't eligible or anything like that, but I think later in life I was able to see somebody very dear to me
Mhm.
end up joining the military, and I helped them with their process. And when they went on and they did great things in their military branch, and it was just so powerful to me. When I tell you it was powerful, that person don't even know it, but it was the most one of the most. I think it fulfilled the part that I was missing about staying on recruiting duty, because you got to help somebody from point A to point B and then make it to point C, and that was fucking amazing. So. But is there any advice that you have for young women out there considering the military or a military career?
I would say if you feel like you can't do it, you can. All you have to do is take that first step and keep doing one foot in front of the other, and you'll be able to accomplish anything you set your mind to. It's okay to be scared, it's okay to be nervous, have anxiety, all of that. That just means that you care and that you want to do good. Just don't let the doubts win. If it's something you want to do, just do it. Nobody says you have to stay in forever. Just do 4 years or whatever your initial contract length is. Just do that. If you feel like it's not for you, make sure that you prepare yourself to exit the military, so that you can continue to be successful in whatever you decide to do afterwards. But yeah, definitely don't let the doubts win, because you'll end up having regrets on what if I would have did it. How about we not think about that? How about
Yeah.
we just do it so
Hey,
that
come
we
on.
know what the outcome is? You know what I mean? So it's okay to be scared. Like I said, I was scared, but here I am over 18 years later, still killing it. So just do it.
So, last thing, is there any shout outs? Anybody you want to give a shout out to? Anything you want to promote right now or anything like that?
Um, Honestly, there's way too many people to give shout outs to. I just want to say thank you to everybody that has been with me along the way. Whether you've been with me from day one or you ended up joining my life throughout my career and stuff like that. I just want to say, if I've never told you thank you, just know that I appreciate you. I appreciate your support, your love, mentorship. It will stay with me until my last day. My
Hey.
last day means when I'm 6 feet, 6 feet under. I will forever appreciate everybody that's been in my life, everybody that has prayed for me, checked on me. I appreciate you all.
And that's awesome. And I want to thank you so much for coming on Life Untold. We appreciate it. If there's ever anything that you need, you know, I'm one call away, one text away. So make sure you know that.
I do, insane.
Always, always. And I appreciate it. And you have a great evening.
Thank you, you too.
All right.
All right.